Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us at tonight's Down Syndrome Association of Brazos Valley Gala. My name is Clay Falls, and it is my honor and privilege to speak with you for a few minutes about our experience and why the Down Syndrome Association has become so important to our family. You may know me from your living room TV. For 12 and a half years, I was the senior reporter and fill and news anchor at KBTX Channel 3. I met my wife Heather there, and we built our life and family in Bryan College Station as a result. In the summer of 2022, I left TV News to join Bryan IC, where I'm now the Media and Community Relations Manager for our incredible school district. Now, I was already familiar with the Down Syndrome Association, and I had DJed their Christmas party years ago. I never knew that I would have a direct connection to the work that they're doing. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in Him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. That's Romans 15:13, and has become a new life verse for me since November of 2023. Throughout my life, there are key verses I work to memorize and keep close to heart. In a bit, I'll share with you why Romans 15:13 is so significant to me. My ongoing personal transformation has been to learn to trust the Lord in uncertain and very challenging times. I've seen my fair share in the last 3 years alone. Our world changed in the spring of 2023 when we found out that my wife Heather was pregnant with our second child. Heather and I were overjoyed to learn she was expecting again. It happened much faster than we anticipated. At the time, Heather was the senior producer at KBTX and would work there for 14 years. God brought us together at our workplace in an unexpected way, and I married the most amazing and beautiful girl from Madisonville. I'm thankful that she, my dad and stepmom, sisters, and brothers-in-law could join us tonight. They came from as far away as Dallas and Fort Worth to be with us this evening. Thank you. A few months into the newest pregnancy, though, we knew there would be some big challenges for our baby. Heather wanted to know the gender, just like with our first child. After the blood test, we were so excited to learn that we were having another baby girl, but there was a big red flag the testing had indicated. The medical staff informed us that the genetic testing showed a high probability for trisomy 21. Our baby girl most likely had an extra set of chromosomes that somehow gathered together at conception. You've heard of the more common name for this, and you probably have met people or know people with this genetic condition. It's why we are gathered here today. Trisomy 21 is one of the 3 main types of Down syndrome. My wife and I were very hurt and confused by this news. We never had anything like this in either of our families, and our daughter Kendall doesn't have any health conditions. We assumed we'd have another perfectly healthy baby, even though we had a higher risk pregnancy due to age. In the coming months, I find myself connected with groups like the Down Syndrome Association and their amazing team and resources. Over the July 4th holiday in 2023, we went with my wife's family to Purgatory Mountain in Durango, Colorado for our summer vacation. Our first day on the mountain, we received a call confirming our fears and worries. While we've been praying the testing had been wrong, we got a call back from Austin Maternal Fetal Medicine. A few weeks prior to that, we'd been in Austin so that Heather could undergo an amniocentesis. They extracted DNA from the womb to further test for trisomy 21. They were going to confirm baby did have trisomy 21 Down syndrome. It was a probability of more than 90%. We were distraught, but I still knew God had a plan, and it was by His design. It just wasn't the plan we had for our daughter or a burden we wanted to bear, but the hardest part was the unknown. What I didn't know is how this would become one of life's biggest blessings. We named our daughter Madeline Ann as she came into the world fast and furious on November 7th, 2023. She was almost a month early, and Heather's doctor gave us a heads up that the baby would be a preemie. We rushed to the hospital that Tuesday morning, and Madeline was born about an hour later. She was ready to be here. My wife was very brave that day, and it was one of my happiest days. It was a tough but joy-filled morning. We could see the final confirmation for trisomy 21, and we knew during the pregnancy she also had some heart and pulmonary issues going on. Madeline was born right at 6 pounds for being so early, and everyone, including us, are so in love with her. She brightens our world with her sweet personality, disposition, and her constant smiles. You can see in the photos how Kendall is such a big, proud sister too. Our journey to the hospital greatly changed overnight after she was born. Madeline had to be admitted into the NICU at St. Joseph Hospital in College Station because she was not able to swallow her milk or properly bottle feed or breastfeed. It was a combination of being born early and the Down syndrome. Days turned into weeks at the hospital, and time for us to hold her, talk to her, and study my Bible and devotionals was a major focus. Many prayers were also said each day. The Down Syndrome Association of Brazos Valley was there with us from the beginning. They were already in our corner with encouragement and commitment to us and to our new baby. My wife posted this on Facebook a little more than a week after Maddie was born. Heather wrote, "A thoughtful gift from the Down Syndrome Association of Brazos Valley was waiting on our doorstep when we made it home yesterday afternoon. The amount of support and love that so many have poured out for our family has been truly amazing. We love this community. Madeline continues to be a little fighter. Her medical team is hopeful that they will be able to get her off the CPAP and transfer her to nasal oxygen tube soon. After that, learning to manage her eating and oxygen levels will be the next step." And Heather and I are so grateful for them. This is who they are. This is what they do. If y'all give them a round of applause for the association. Thank you. I mentioned to you at the beginning of the talk about Romans 15:13 being a new life verse, and here's a picture of why it has become a life verse. It was inscribed on the wall at St. Joseph Hospital in the NICU wing. I had to walk by that verse every day for more than a month to get to my baby girl's hospital room. When she was born, Madeline spent her time in hospitals for 47 days before we could finally bring her home. Texas Children's Hospital in the Woodlands scheduled surgery for a G-tube, which is a feeding tube, so that we could start feeding her in the way her little body could handle it. She's still on a feeding tube now, but continues to make progress with her swallowing. Just this week at her therapy appointment at Texas Children's in the Woodlands, she swallowed water 20 times in a row, the most she's ever done. You go, Madeline. Our Christmas present in 2023 was having her finally home the Friday before Christmas Eve. Our God is faithful, and had I not been grounded in my faith, I don't know how I could have handled that load of stress and pressure. God knew my whole life this was something I'd face and would become a significant life event. He'd been preparing me for that moment, and the trial still continues. Darla and the wonderful folks at the Down Syndrome Association of the Brazos Valley have become additional family for us. They've been with us every step of the way. This journey would have been even harder without their love, encouragement, and expertise. We've had strangers reach out, pray for us, and send us notes of encouragement. Respite care has also been a godsend for our marriage. Heather and I haven't been comfortable finding babysitters due to Madeline still using a feeding tube, but the association has been a huge help. Each month they offer respite care nights where down kids and their siblings can be dropped off at the association's office. Trained volunteers spend the 2.5 hours playing with the kids. It lets moms and dads like us have a date night, something that's especially hard to do these days. This act of service by the association has meant so much to us as a family. My wife has the hardest job. As you know, moms work 24/7 and rarely ever get breaks. I'm grateful for the association and the respite care nights. It's something we desperately needed. We've also enjoyed their family gatherings, including the Fall Festival, and this is a photo of the Fall Festival at First Baptist Church in Bryan a few months ago. The gift of Madeline has connected us with some of the most amazing people you'll ever meet, and it's helped us see what to expect as our daughter gets older. Children with Down syndrome are some of the most loving and kind people on the planet. We are part of a very special group. Our health journey with Madeline is ongoing. On June 13, 2024, Madeline had open heart surgery at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. Her medical team fixed a hole in her heart that hadn't filled in when she was born. They also did a PDA ligation and worked on the back of her throat to address the swallowing issues. The surgery was a huge success, and we found out afterwards that the hole had been even bigger than what the doctors had thought. She's not expected to need any more heart procedures, but we did have to go back to Houston for another 2.5 weeks in July because fluid in her heart wasn't draining following the surgery. They were able to drain it in the cath lab, and our family rode out Hurricane Beryl in the Houston area while Madeline was stuck at the hospital. And that was a pretty crazy few days and stories that we'll remember forever. My big takeaway from the trauma of seeing my daughter struggle, needing to have major surgery, and having a life different than how it is for most of us is this. God has been there every step of the way, and the Down syndrome community is always there for us too. And I can tell you in my life that Madeline is the strongest and toughest little girl I've ever met with all she's endured in her little bit of life so far. Our daughter's hospital journey has been some of the hardest things my wife and I have faced in our marriage, but I've seen a mountain of encouragement. I want to share a quick story from back in June, the day before the surgery. My wife and I were getting groceries for the week at Kroger on Main Street, just a short drive from our hotel in the medical center. As you know, it likes to rain in Houston a lot. We got surprised with a pop-up heavy rain as we were leaving the grocery store. I parked our SUV out in the parking lot, and we didn't have an umbrella. We didn't plan on rain. My new plan was to let Heather and Madeline hang out under the overhang while I fetched the car and drove to them. A lady was waiting outside for us in the rain with a big golf umbrella. She offered to walk me to my car. I told her I could possibly make it on my own and make a dash for it, but she insisted. By the way she looked and was dressed, she looked like a homeless person to me. She said her name was Estella, and she was in fact looking for a place to live in Houston. I told her I had a little bit of cash I could give her and some groceries, but unfortunately didn't have any basics like bread or things like that. I explained to her that my wife and I were in town for the week while my daughter was having heart surgery. She said she could tell my wife and I were in town for the week. We're in town for the week while, I'm sorry, I messed up there. She could tell that my wife and I were working to raise her to know the Lord, and that He would make her life a big blessing for us. Then she said something I never expected. In that brief exchange, she told me that the Lord revealed to her to be praying for Madeline's heart, specifically that the hole in her heart would be healed. I was floored. I never said anything to her about what exactly was wrong with her heart. She also told me to read my Bible, specifically Psalm 23, and find healing in it. After I drove my car around, Estella met us back up front and briefly talked to my wife and met Madeline in her stroller. What I also didn't know that was simultaneously while I was having this conversation loading groceries in my car, Heather was at the back of the overhang of the store having a very surprising conversation with another woman. A lady was waiting for the rain to die down, stopped Heather and said, "Excuse me, but does your baby have Down syndrome?" Heather told her yes, and the lady went on to tell her that her son has Down syndrome and is 36 years old now. She wanted to encourage us as we just started this journey together. I may not see either of those people again in this life, but I see evidence all around of the Lord working to build His kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. God was speaking to them that day. Philippians 3:12-13 speaks to me. Not that I've already obtained all this or have already been made perfect, but I press on to take hold of that for which Christ took hold of me. Brothers, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining what is ahead. And this was a photo on Mother's Day last May. We had Madeline baptized at First Methodist Church in Bryan. God has given us this gift of life, and He's got us all here for His plans and His purposes. Now fast forward to now, and Madeline is doing so incredibly well. You can see how much she's smiling there. These are photos from last week on our spring break trip to Angel Fire, New Mexico. It was our first chance to take Madeline out of Texas, and you can see we're enjoying all the little things and making special memories, just like every regular family. Madeline's bright personality and warmth have touched a special place in our souls. And you can look and see how beautiful she is. I'm so blessed to be her dad. She brings out the best in people. We love having a front row seat to that. In closing, I encourage you to give to the Down Syndrome Association in ways most possible and comfortable to you. We need volunteers. We need your support. We need advocacy for our amazing friends, family, and loved ones who have a little extra in their chromosomes. We are blessed to call the Brazos Valley home, and these kids make our lives even more beautiful. We are on this journey today, and each day is a gift. May God bless you and keep you. We're thankful you can join us tonight. Thank you.
Clay's story gets repeated many, many times. That's one story, but there are many, many more. And I promise you, because most of us in this room know, but there are people out there that there's a false narrative that comes around. People will be told about having a Down's baby. Maybe it's a surprise, and they don't understand what that means. They know what they've heard. And the Down Syndrome Association comes, and they will talk to you. They did to us. They did to Clay. And they will explain to these people that this is a blessing, and it's an incredible blessing. Your life is going to be filled with joy. It will be a wild ride, and it will still be the most wonderful thing. And I am so proud of you, Clay, and your family, and what you guys have done. Thank you for helping spread the word. One more time, Clay Falls. What a fantastic family. Thank you.